Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Knits and Beads podcast. Hello! It's been 2 weeks since my last podcast episode has hit YouTube, so I figured I would do a little quick video to catch you up on what I'm working on. This is episode 30. I am your host, LoreleiEurto. I'm a jewelry designer in upstate New York who knits in her free time. And this is a predominantly knitting podcast. And at the end of the episode today, I will talk a little bit about show news. Not show news, shop news. So as I said before, it's been 2 weeks since my last episode. I'm not sure why. It's been that long, although I've been fairly monogamous in my knitting projects these days. So that probably has a lot to do with it, and just wasn't feeling it. So I'm here today, and hopefully I still have some subscribers left. That I do know that I've had a bit of an influx of new subscribers, so if you are new to the podcast, thank you so much for watching, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So, what am I wearing? Well, this is actually a necklace that I made. This is listed in one of my online stores. I don't recall if it's my Etsy store or my Indie Made shop. You can find me online. I should mention that too. Let's see. I'm on Instagram and Ravelry as LoreleiEurto. Please feel free to friend me on Facebook. I'm LoreleiEurto, and I have a business page for my business, which is LoreleiEurto Jewelry. You can find me on Etsy at LoreleiEurtoJewelry.etsy.com, and my website is LoreleiEurto.com. So this is a little owl necklace that I made. This is a ceramic pendant from my friend Lisa Peters. And I paired it with some chain and some vintage glass and some of these cool onyx beads. And I'm kind of wearing it in a different way here. So basically, this is where the clasp is. And I clasp it pretty much anywhere on the chain depending on what length I want the necklace. And then instead of just leaving this dangling, I put it through this ring. So then it looks like that. It's one of the cool things about creating jewelry is I can do funny things like that. And it's completely unique. This is one of a kind. And anyway, I am wearing these are crocheted and I made these last season. The yarn is really cool. They're called the Firecracker gloves. They're a crochet pattern on Ravelry. And the yarn I used is Zen Yarn Garden. And I can't remember the color name, but it's awesome. All their colorways are really fun and beautiful. So I just threw those on just for a little extra warmth. Okay, so I'll jump right into knitting. I don't have any finished objects to show you in person today. I do have one finished object. My husband, who's extremely knit-worthy, finally asked me if I would knit him something, and he wanted a hat. So he told me he wanted a hat a couple months ago, and I had just been hemming and hawing and not being able to find the right pattern. And he gives me like this rule that it can't be too tight. So I'm like, it's a knit hat, it's gonna feel tight. But he has a fairly large head, so trying to find a pattern that would accommodate the bigness of his head and not feel tight was kind of a challenge, of course, as you can imagine. So luckily I found a pattern from Stephen West. So the pattern is called Yes Checks. And I'm going to try to insert a picture here for you so you can see what it looks like. And And I knit it out of Quince Company Lark, which is worsted weight yarn. And the color is called Sabine, and it's kind of a heathered black, dark black color. The pattern is really cool because it doesn't include any ribbing at all. So basically you cast on your stitches and just start knitting in pattern. And the pattern has kind of a basket weave look to it. You have a couple of options. You can choose a larger check, which is what I chose, where I think across the hat it might have been 4. I don't know. I'll have to look at the picture and see. But you'll be able to see the smaller check has just kind of a smaller weave look to it than the other one. I didn't end up knitting it as long as Stephen requests that you do in the pattern because Joe's not a slouchy hat kind of guy, and this particular hat could be considered a slouchy hat. So I knit it as long as I thought, and then I tried it on him and decided to cast off at that point. So it ends up fitting him perfectly. He loves it. He's been wearing it every day and winning at knitting, winning. So I'm sure he'll want more hats in the future. He really does like that one though, because it is not tight on his head, and I didn't even block it. It just, he put it right on and it looks great. So so that's my one finished object this week. I really need to start finishing some things because it's been too long. So the few whips that I have are as follows. I will talk about this first. I am knitting the Westknits Mystery Cal, the building the building blocks shawl, and I feel like I'm been knitting it forever, and I feel like I will be knitting it for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, Stephen. It's just, there's no way that I will knit the large size. After the color block that I'm on now, I will be casting it off so that I can finish it, because I think that the size is going to be fine, the medium size. If you don't want to see it, if you're still working on yours and you're not sure or haven't gotten to that point, I will let you look away now. I'm going to show it on the screen here in a second. And this is the color I'm knitting it right now with. This is, I'm hoping that I don't run out. This is Madeline Tosh Light, and the colorway is Chicory. Are you ready? Look away. So I had to take it out of one of my zippered bags because it was getting too big. So I'm keeping it in this little fabric basket that I got from my friend Christy, and her Etsy store is $12.34 Handmade. Okay, so here it is. It's squinched up on my needles at the moment because I'm not using a very long needle for this. I am knitting this on my size 4s, and these are bamboo needles from Tulip, and it's their swivel needles, which is nice. However, I'm not liking the bamboo paired with the Madeline Tosh Light. There's too much of a drag. But I am really loving the colors of this so much. And I'm really going to enjoy wearing this, I think. So I have a couple things to say about this pattern. No, it is not something that I would typically pick out to knit just because of the silhouette or the shape of the bottom of the shawl. However, when I see it, when I've seen the finished ones online, I really like it a lot. It's going to be a nice size, and the thing that I love about it is that it introduced me to brioche. So there is brioche in this block here, but it's not brioche all the way across. It's blocks of brioche, which for a beginner, I think that's perfect because I wasn't overwhelmed, and it just offered me little sections where I could warm up to it, and I actually really like how it looks on the red side. Let's see. But at the last minute, I actually asked online if I could figure out how I would get. Actually, I was thinking I didn't want the red to show. I was thinking I wanted the teal to show. So what I did was I switched two of the colors, C and D, and swapped the colors. Yeah, C and D, I believe those are those two colors. The dark teal, or the Madeline Tosh, and this red is it's not coming out that well. It's kind of a rust red color. This is called Other Kingdoms is the brand, and I bought this in Mystic, Connecticut at a yarn store there, Mystic Yarns. But now that I've seen it, I'm okay with it, but I really think that it would have looked nice with the red instead, but whatever. So this last section is taking forever because obviously there's like 600 stitches on the needles. So also every stitch marker I own is in this piece, so I can't start anything. I'm not going to buy more stitch markers. I have enough. So I'm just going to try to finish this bad boy eventually. But I just feel like when I sit down to knit on it, I can do like 2 rows, 3 rows tops before I like completely burn out and have to do something else. So that's where I'm at. You can look, I've removed it from the screen. If you want to know more about the colors that I chose for my building blocks shawl, I do have that on, that information is on my Ravelry page. Again, you can look at my page at LoreleiEurto on Ravelry. Okay, the other work in progress that I am doing now was spurred by the whole brioche introduction. So why not jump right in, right? So I chose a hat by the lovely and beautiful Andrea Mowry of on what is her, yeah, I think it's just Andrea Mowry. She's on Instagram as something like Andrea Renee Knits. So she has a hat pattern that a lot of podcasters have been knitting called the Vintage Prim hat, but it was Candace of the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast. Hi, Candace. She inspired me to knit this hat because her hat came out awesome, and I ended up having the same type of yarn that she used in hers, which was ShibuiKnits Staccato fingering weight. However, I started the hat and got about, I don't know, that much done. So I got into the patterning and jacked it up somehow. I know it happened. During one of the off rows where you just brioche knit and then brioche purl, I was working too fast and looked down and realized I had dropped one of the brioche knit stitches, one of the front facing stitches, and I could not save it. I tried to save it and I thought I will try to save it and keep going, And I should know better not to do that because, no, you cannot do that. You cannot try to save drop stitches as this much of a beginner as I am. So I gave up, frogged it, and I recast on over the weekend. So this I'm keeping in this brand new bag. This was made by Amber. Amber has a podcast called Simple Love Podcast on YouTube. And I think I saw this bag on her podcast and I was like, oh man, I'm going to try to get one of those because they're so cute. Her Etsy store is truesimplelove.etsy.com. I recommend you check her bags out. Her bags are amazing. She also dyes lovely yarn. But just look at that little sweater. Oh my gosh. So she does a really nice job quilting scraps. This is something that I do not have patience for. So when I see something like this, I have to jump on it because it's just so beautiful. I love this fabric too. This is just such a fun little bag, and there's little rabbits on it. Nancy, the rabbits. It's got rabbits. And then it's just plain on the back, and then on the inside it's got this beautiful gray patterned fabric. So this is a perfect little bag for socks or an accessory. Okay, so the two colors that I am now making my vintage Prim hat out of are Ash. This is ShibuiKnits Staccato. It's so soft. And the one that I had started before, I was also using another skein of ShibuiKnits Staccato in the artichoke color. It was like an olive green color, and I almost feel like there's too much silk in this. There is a bit of a silk content, and I don't remember what that is, but there's a smidge of it, and it's it just was making it really floppy. So I really don't know how that would fit. So what I ended up doing was choosing a yarn from Nice and Knit. Now, this is sport weight. It's okay. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. They look very similar in gauge, and this is a merino. So this doesn't have any silk. And I thought it might be a nicer hat fabric. And I do love the two contrasting colors more. The green and the gray were just a little bit too similar in tone. And I think that a successful brioche pattern has nice contrasting colors, two colors. And I don't really love brioche, I'm going to be completely honest with you now, in a variegated yarn. Maybe speckles would be okay, but a really busy variegated yarn in a very busy brioche fabric doesn't do it for me. So this is definitely, I think, solid colors. Here is how far I am so far. Oh crap. What I need to buy is one of those little stoppers that goes on the ends of your needles. I need that. I need those. Okay. So here's my hat so far. I haven't got too far. I'm trying to go nice and slow because that is the problem with brioche, is that if you rush through it, you make mistakes. One side of the hat has just this nice blue and white fabric, but the brim is all done in brioche, and you can see the blue is the main color on this side and the white is the main color on this side. Yes, brioche ribbing all day long. Would much rather do brioche ribbing than regular ribbing any day. So as you can see, I just started the patterning here, so I'm not too far. And I know that's not super exciting, but that's where I'm at. So I do like the fabric of this better, and I'll be anxious to hopefully show you the finished thing next time I podcast. So I think definitely a pattern that's doable for a beginner. My one tip that I do have is that when I printed out Andrea's pattern, and I'm going to show this really quick so you can't freaking read it, but you can see it's written out in paragraph. There is a chart, which there is absolutely no way I'll be able to read. Oh, I might as well show you the picture of the pattern. That's the hat there. Just see how that's with the speckles. Or maybe it's variegated, I'm not sure because I printed it in black and white. But chart, oh my gosh, who can read that? Not me. So what I did was I took the written instructions and I did this kind of a thing. So I wrote out all the steps just so my eyes can focus on that better than reading it in a small paragraph that's like this big. So that's helping me a lot, and I'm enjoying that pattern, although this is my second try. Hopefully we can get through this one. Okay. I've got some new yarn to show you. I bought a skein of yarn from my new friend, Denise. Denise lives in Brooklyn, I believe. New York City, Brooklyn. And this is her business card. Yoshi and Lucy. Her name is Denise Granda. She is on Etsy, yoshiandlucy.etsy.com. And I met Denise during a virtual knit night that Shannon of Saakshi was hosting. And it was very nice to meet her and chat with her in person. And I was able to check out her store and I fell in love with this skein. This is not showing up very well on camera. This is better. The most beautiful teal you've ever seen in your life. It's a variegated yarn. It's the base is called Isabel. It's 463 yards. It's 75/25 merino nylon 4-ply. Colorway is Elphaba. And it's got some really beautiful green, black, navy blue tones in it. And it's just lovely. I love it. It's wicked soft too. Really soft. I don't know what I'm going to make with this. I think if I can get myself to make a sock head hat someday, this will be good for that. Other yarn that I recently purchased and received was yarn for the sweater I have planned. I am planning on knitting the Fireside Pullover by Richmond. And it's in the newish book that just came out called Within by Shannon Cook and Jane Richmond. And I did not buy the book. I think the sweater on the cover is beautiful also, and then this sweater. But I can't see myself knitting any of the other patterns, so I'm not going to get the book. I actually bought the Fireside patterns separately. They're available on Ravelry. She recommends Cascade yarns. Eco Plus. Eco Plus is the dyed versions with nice color options. Eco without the plus is the natural colors, more sheepy tones. So I chose this, and it's not showing up very well. There you go. It's teal, because everybody needs a teal sweater. And teal is my favorite color. And the color is not on here, but it's 9451. I swear it had a color, though. If I can find it, I will put it here for you to see. So basically this is a heavy worsted, light, bulky weight yarn. And I bought 3 skeins. Each of these skeins is, oh, by the way, it's 100% Peruvian wool. It's a little bit scratchy, gonna be honest. So they're 250 gram skeins. It's 478 yards, or 437 meters, and made in Peru. So I bought the pattern, and I'm looking at the pattern, and I gotta say, this is my first sweater. So it's hard for me not to get too hung up on the fact that the instructions for choosing your size are a little bit overwhelming. So I think I'm going to have a conversation with my friend Elise, because Elise of the Two Tips podcast knit this sweater. She did the test knit for Jane. So she has experience with the sweater, and I actually know another person that I could also ask if she's not available to help me, but hopefully they'll be able to talk me through the overwhelming 7-page pattern. I'm new and I don't really understand a lot of things, and there's lots of charts and there's a lot of information, and I know that that's helpful, but as a newbie, I'm scared. So I just don't want to put a lot of time and effort into knitting this enormous sweater and then have it not fit me. And that's where I'm at right now. So because I'm losing weight, because I've gone back to the gym. This is week 6. I've gone every day except on the weekends. And, you know, my size is definitely changing. However, I don't imagine that I'm going to get very small. I am a big, tall person, but it would be nice to be between a 12 and a 14 eventually. So I'm thinking a large sweater would be great. Something that will still fit, layering it over a long sleeve t-shirt or a turtleneck or whatever. And so, yeah. So that's upcoming. I don't have any sewing to show you this week. I haven't done any sewing. Another upcoming project that I want to do is this hat. Now, don't you love it when you see a pattern online that you like really love, and I keep seeing it here and there, whether it be on podcasts or Ravelry or I don't know, wherever you see patterns online, I guess. And then I realized that I have the pattern in a magazine. So this pattern is from Knitscene, and it's the Deep Woods Toque. Nice. Love it. It's color work, and I probably won't do the pom-pom because I'm not a pom-pom type of girl, but I do love these colors with that bright coral pink, and this is knit with Tosh Merino Light, which is one of my new favorite yarns. Who knew? Okay, moving right along. This is new. Of course, I had to buy this because I'm working on his mystery cal, and there are quite a few of his shawls that I really enjoy. So I'm looking forward to possibly trying out some of his other designs. The book is fantastic. I can see myself knitting a lot of these. I am actually doing this one already. This is Vertices Unite. I haven't worked on it in a while. I don't know if I'm going to continue it. When I was at Rhinebeck, I was in the Primrose Yarn Company booth, and she had a sample of the Doodler knit with her yarn, and it was so beautiful. And the one little thing that made me want to knit that is the little detail that is along the bottom edge. That is so cool. So I don't know. I mean, the pattern is like 8 pages long, so I don't know if I'll knit it, but it's a great book, and I am glad to have it in my arsenal. Because I mean, come on. Stephen Last. I would have loved to see him at Rhinebeck. I don't know how I missed him. Apparently he's quite a tall dude. I also am waiting for the new issue of Making Magazine. I pre-ordered it as soon as it came out. I have the previous one, which is Flora, and the new one that's coming out is Fauna. And I follow Making Zine on Instagram, and they keep showing like teasers of the patterns that are in it, and I have loved every single pattern, so I hope I get my issue soon. I know that I saw last week that they were shipping them out, so I hope it comes today. That would be so awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish off the episode talking a little bit about my shop news, and if you are not interested in seeing or hearing me talk about that, I'll see you next time, and if you want to stick around, please do. So, if you are new to the podcast, I am a jewelry designer. I make jewelry and sell it online. I also have done tutorials. I've submitted my work to a lot of magazines. I wrote a book called Bohemian Inspired Jewelry. And every year, around this time of year, I host a open house at my house where I create an invitation, and it's kind of an invite-only type of thing because I can only accommodate so many people in my home, but it's a great opportunity to reach out to some people that work with my husband at school, and also previous employees of mine when I worked at the museum. And then, you know, sometimes other customers, local customers that have been buying my work for a couple of years are also invited. I do a little bit of a Facebook invitation, also an event that I created, although a lot of people don't really RSVP on those. So I made my invitations and they came. These I got printed up at Zazzle.com. Zazzle? Is it .com? I don't know. Yes. Zazzle. And I just had just a simple little postcard print up with my open house details on the back. So what I do is I kind of rearrange everything in my dining room, which is this room behind me. And I clear off that buffet, and that serves as also a display for my jewelry. I basically set up my tables to look like I would set up any kind of craft show or jewelry display. So I have all of that stuff kind of on hand throughout the house, and I pull it all out and put everything on display. And then my husband and I cook some just light refreshments. We usually do a couple of different things, like I do a chocolate chip zucchini bread that's very popular. Sometimes we do pizza bites. Sometimes we usually like to have a good mix of salty snacks and sweet snacks. And then I usually have coffee on hand or beverages such as soda and stuff like that. And I open the house up from 1 to 5, and people can come and shop at their leisure, and it's a great time of year to get started on Christmas shopping. And a lot of people that shop my open house are buying their Christmas gifts, and some personal gifts too for themselves. But it's always really fun to be able to interact with people on a much more relaxed basis. Sometimes when you're at a show and there's a ton of people, and sometimes there's a ton of people in your booth, it's really hard to chit-chat with people. So I love to have this open house, and I recommend it for anybody that sells their crafts. Doesn't even have to be jewelry. Could be, you know, if you sell yarn and you can open up your home and you have the space to do it. My husband likes to be included too, because he likes to schmooze my customers, and he puts a fire in the fireplace and kind of tends that for me and helps me with the food prep and stuff like that. So it's always nice to have him around. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I've planned it for the 19th. I also have been trying to build stock, and it's hard. It's hard to build stock when you have a knitting obsession and your extra money does not always go to buying supplies like earring wires and clasps. Those things are not fun to buy for me anymore. Also, like bubble mailers and packing boxes and things like that. So it's been very difficult to kind of balance the budget and figure out what's goods to purchase. And lately I've been buying, actually I have not been buying yarn. I mean, with exception of this was $65 for a sweater's quantity. I ordered that, by the way, at Eat Sleep Knit, which is one of my favorite websites to buy yarn. They have all sorts of hand-dyed and commercially dyed yarns. They have a really nice Cascade selection. And what I love about them is that they kind of have like a point system where you buy a certain amount of yardage of yarn, and the more you get, then you get like a little freebie. And so this order put me over the top to the next tier, and I ended up getting this little free thing. It's a little Notions box. It says the Star Sheep. And this opens up, and it's got little compartments. It's got a little button in there, and it came with some aluminum darning needles. 3 little needles in there. So, and you know, the more tiers you go, the better the prizes are. And then they usually always send like a little scratch off ticket where you can earn like extra coupons for future purchases. So Eat Sleep Knit, they're the bomb. Okay, so I guess that's all I've got to talk about today. 40 minutes, it's pretty good. Thank you all for listening to me blabber on about the yarny stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and I will try to be back within a week or two for a new episode, and hopefully I will be able to show you a finished hat at that point, or God willing, this shawl. I'm hoping I can finish it. I need to just finish it. So anyway, thanks for coming over, and I'll talk to you guys on the flip side. Bye.